We've been talking about evidence for evolution, and this is another one of those cool examples of evidence that's hard to refute. And we call this embryology, or the study of embryonic formation and development. And when you see and compare the ways that different kinds of animals evolve, you will see that as they change and develop in the uterus, it kind of mimics the evolutionary steps that that particular branch of the tree of life had to go through. And that's actually beautiful, in my opinion, to actually see. There you see a picture of evolution as you look to the stages of the embryonic development. For example, when you look at the first stage of development of the human embryo, as you go from a zygote to a morula to a blastula to a grassula, and then you do a neurula, and then the neurula starts differentiating and making different cells. On the first few days, between 9 and actually first month, the first 4 weeks, we're very, very tiny embryos, and it's not going to be until the 23rd or 28th day that we actually start looking significantly like a primate, like you see over here at the very end. Before then, we go through stages where we even have tails. Look at that. It's definitely a tail over there. We go through stages that we may even have gill slits, like fish do, or amphibians. And we even have stages that we look decisively reptile-like. And that's because we are reptiles. That's because we are amphibians. What? Think about it. We evolved from an early amphibian. And then after that, we became reptiles, and then the reptiles evolved into mammals. So mammals evolved from an ancient reptile. Reptiles evolved from an ancient amphibian. Amphibians evolved from an ancient fish. And so, as you see the progression of embryonic development, what you're actually seeing is the successive activation of more and more advanced kinds of genes. And as those genes activate sequentially throughout the embryonic development process, you actually see the stages of which the evolutionary process of that animal kind of went through, with some variations, of course. But that only proves that we actually are evolved from previous life forms. And in fact, if you actually look at a human embryo around 9 days, really up close, you might not even be able to tell the difference between a human embryo and an embryo from another species, unless you have a very well-trained eye. Look, for example, how the salamander looks like, all right, at different kinds of stages. How the tortoise looks like at different kinds of stages. How the chicken looks like at different kinds of stages. Look how close the chicken and the tortoise are. A reptile and a bird. Look at the rabbit, which is a mammal. Look at the man. We're all so similar from each other. Now, of course, there's a little bit of differentiation, but that's because evolution has changed that homology a bit. But it's an example of similarities that exist between that. And if you actually compare those similarities, you will see those structures, which are so unique, and it's kind of hard to deny. So again, embryology and the successive activation of more and more advanced genes. Again, DNA, see, is a key here. Shows you that evolution is evidenciated by a lot of research. All right?